My dad moved on 5 months after mom died, got his girlfriend pregnant, and I told her to fuck off when she begged for help. Now everyone's mad at me. I, 16F, lost my mom 14 months ago. She died suddenly, and it shattered our family. Until then, my dad and I were really close. He was devastated when mom died. At least that's what I thought. We grieved together, talked a lot, and I believe he was just as heartbroken as I was. We'd always had a strong bond, and I leaned on him heavily during those first months. Losing a parent is brutal at any age, but as a teenager, it's like the ground disappears under your feet. For most of the year after her death, things were just about holding together. I was in pain, sure, but at least I thought we were in it together. But then, about 4 months ago, my dad told me he had something important to share. I thought it might be about grief counseling, or maybe even something about mom's estate. Instead, he brought home a woman I'd never met before and told me she was his girlfriend. Oh, and by the way, she was pregnant and moving in. That night, I was stunned. Couldn't even speak at first. He was talking, fumbling over words, saying stuff like, "This is a good thing, and you'll see." When I finally said something, I was furious. I told him I guessed this meant he never really loved my mom, and that he got over her the second she was gone. I know that sounds harsh, but hear me out. My dad has always said, always, that people who moved on too quickly after losing a spouse never truly loved them. He said that about relatives, co-workers, even people on TV. He'd rant about how disrespectful it was to their memory, especially if there were kids who were still grieving. Real love, he'd say, takes time to let go. So imagine my shock when I found out he was already sleeping with someone 5 months after my mom died and got her pregnant 2 months later. It destroyed my trust in him. It made everything he ever said about grief and love feel like a lie. His girlfriend wasn't quiet during this conversation either. She was offended that I didn't congratulate them, that I focused on what I felt instead of celebrating the pregnancy. She told me I should be happy about the baby and that your mom is dead and your dad has a right to be happy again. I couldn't even look at her. I kept talking to my dad, telling him exactly how betrayed I felt. She got angrier and eventually yelled that I was being toxic and bitter. That night was the beginning of the end of whatever relationship I had left with either of them. Things escalated fast after that. His girlfriend made it very clear that if I wasn't going to be supportive or celebrate the baby, then I shouldn't be in the house. She said it wasn't fair to her or the baby to live with someone so negative. I told my dad I couldn't live there anymore. He tried to argue with me. He kept saying we could make it work, but I told him point blank. If he forced me to stay under the same roof as her, he'd lose me completely. That wasn't a threat. It was just the truth. Eventually, I packed up and moved in with my maternal grandparents. They've been incredibly supportive, and while it still hurts like hell, I feel safer there. My dad comes to see me multiple times a week. I think he genuinely wants to fix things with me, and I don't doubt that he still cares. But I also don't think he really understands what he's done. Not fully. He's had me come over for dinner at their place a couple of times. I've gone just to keep that thread of connection alive with him. But those dinners are always awkward. His girlfriend acts like I'm a walking insult to her existence. She barely looks at me unless it's to glare. One time, she was so cold and bitter that even my dad noticed and tried to smooth things over. But I could tell he was torn, like he wanted to keep the peace with both of us, but didn't want to admit how ugly things were getting. She's especially resentful that my dad is spending so much time and energy trying to keep a relationship with me, instead of focusing on her and the baby. She once said to my face, he should be putting us first now, not wasting time chasing after a brat who doesn't care. I didn't say anything back at the time, but I wanted to scream. Then about a month ago, she really crossed a line. She told me I was disgusting for not warming up to the idea of the baby. She said I needed to get over myself because this baby was coming whether I liked it or not. At one point, she dropped something on the floor and told me to pick it up. I ignored her. She was pissed and stormed off, muttering about how spoiled and entitled I was. My dad tried to talk to me about it later, saying she was under stress and I should cut her some slack. I didn't respond. Then came last Tuesday. Out of nowhere, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. The message said it was from my dad's girlfriend and that she was locked out of the house. She explained that she was 7 months pregnant, had been experiencing pain and some bleeding, and really needed to rest. She said she left her key inside and was stuck outside while my dad was still at work. She needed me to come let her in because I still have a key. Now, I want to be clear. She didn't call 911. She didn't call a neighbor. She didn't even ask nicely. The message was short and demanding, like I owed her something. I stared at the message for a while, and then I replied, F***CK off. I didn't go. I didn't even hesitate after I hit send. I blocked her number right after. A couple hours later, she used my dad's phone to leave me a voicemail. She was furious. She called me every name in the book and said I was a heartless, evil little bitch for leaving a pregnant woman outside. I ignored it. When my dad got home, she apparently waited in the car until he arrived, and he let her in. That night, in the middle of the night, she texted me again, this time from my dad's phone. Another long, nasty message calling me a selfish POS and saying I was endangering her and the baby with my spiteful teenage tantrums. My dad found out, and he did apologize. He said he didn't know she was using his phone and that he'd talk to her about it. He also told me he hoped someday we could all get along, that we could be a family. I didn't respond. I'm exhausted. I'm angry. I'm grieving. And more than anything, I'm just done with being told how I should feel, what I should accept, and how I should act when nobody seems to care how I'm doing. Was I wrong to ignore her and tell her to fuck off when she was outside and in pain? Am I a terrible person for refusing to help her just because she's pregnant and my dad's girlfriend? I don't feel guilty. She's treated me like garbage since day one. She moved into my house and tried to erase my mom's memory while telling me to get over it. She expected me to welcome her and her baby like I was getting some great gift. But I don't want it. I never asked for any of this. I feel like she's made it clear she wants nothing to do with me unless I play the role of the grateful stepdaughter. And I'm not going to do that. Still, part of me wonders if ignoring her when she said she was in pain was going too far. But then I remember all the times she's screamed at me, belittled me, and made me feel like a problem. So, Ida,